Hi, everyone. It's Meredith, your evolutionary astrologer. And today I have a big, fat, scrumptious video for you. What kind of lover are you? We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about Venus through all 12 zodiac signs. So Venus is one of the most beautiful and fascinating planets in astrology. And it does govern so many different parts of our lives. Venus speaks to your relationship with money, your self-worth, your personal value. How do you value yourself? What you desire and what you naturally attract and are attracted to in all of life. And it also represents your relationship to beauty, peace, harmony, and pleasure. It is also your artistic expression, your elegance, your refinement, your personal style. And Venus tells us what we love and what we most value in our lives. But in this video, I'm going to focus on one very, very special dimension of Venus, and that is the love dimension. Yes. I haven't really done a video like this video, and I've done a lot of Venus videos, and I'm going to mention it a couple different times, but watch my Venus playlist because the videos in there, and Connie Jo did a brilliant series on Venus too. They're really, really good. And Venus is just critical. And right now we need to see Venus show up in the world because Venus is our love power. And I believe that love wins. That's my motto. That's how I like to live life. Love wins. Love wins the wars. Yes, it does. And you can try to convince me otherwise, but that's my motto. And that's how I'm going to live life. So I wanted to give Venus extra love for this love video. So in this video, we're going to explore what kind of lover of life, lover in partnership are you? That's a real question. What kind of companion do you become inside your relationship? So it's kind of like literally, what kind of companion are you? Are you a supportive companion? Are you not? Are you an independent companion? And what kind of love does your heart truly desire but need in order to fuel your self-worth? Now, of course, any professional astrologer will tell you that Venus never works alone. And I get that, and I teach that, and I understand that, and I know that. And we go into the depths of Venus and all the planets at my Athena Academy of Astrology. But for the purposes of this video and for you, my viewer watching it, I really just want you to understand this love aspect of Venus. And in order to understand Venus and how it expresses itself in your life, we have to understand and consider your entire natal chart, which, by the way, if I looked at it, I could see over 40,000 different things inside of it. And Venus tells a huge story of your life. How were you loved? How do you love? What do you need inside your love relationships? But if we were to really look at that question in depth, we would have to look at what Saturn is doing to your Venus. That matters. That's going to show me the insufficiencies, the insecurities around your love story. And we need to know what house Venus sits in. And because that matters, that shows me how love is also expressed and received. And we have to know the aspects that Venus makes to the other planets in your chart. And of course, your moon, your Mars sign, and your rising sign are going to play a huge, huge role. So astrology is always a really layered language, but understanding your Venus sign is an incredibly powerful place to begin. And if you already know all about your Venus sign and how it expresses love, just listen because you might learn something new about your Venus sign. So Venus reveals something really, really personal. It's going to show us how you love and how you want to be loved. So in this video, we're going to walk through all 12 Venus signs, Aries through Pisces, and we're going to uncover what kind of lover each sign becomes, if you will, and the type of companion that you are inside of a relationship, and the kind of love that you're secretly or not so secretly searching for, right? And along the way, we're going to go beyond stereotypes because that's what we do here on my astrology channel. And Venus is often misunderstood as some superficial thing, and it's not, because Venus also creates your self-worth. And I hope you are choosing relationships that fill up your self-worth bucket. And that is my hope, and that is my goal for this video. Now, I have to tell you something. Venus doesn't travel very far from the sun. It travels only up to 45 degrees away. So your Venus sign is either going to be in the same sign as your sun sign, or the sign before your sun sign, or the sign after your sun sign. So it is very likely that your Venus is making contact with your sun, your soul, your identity. And that's how important Venus is. It shapes your identity. Mars travels further away. Venus, I feel, is more important. So let's talk about it. And before we begin, if you want to explore your Venus sign in even deeper ways, like more ways, and the multifaceted ways that Venus actually exists in, including how does it affect your money? Venus is your money attractor. It is how you create financial abundance and deep personal value, self-esteem, and self-worth, what you value about yourself. So make sure after this video, you go check out my Venus playlist right here on the channel, where I also break down each Venus sign individually in more depth. And I talk about your money in those individual videos. And they're kind of comical and very funny. They were super fun to do. They're very lighthearted. And I want to add one more layer of intrigue to this video. Some Venus signs move through love very naturally, and their love style flows easily. And relationships tend to unfold for them with like more ease, harmony, and grace. But other Venus signs have more complicated relationships with love, and not worse, just more intense, more complex, and sometimes more challenging to navigate. And certain Venus placements have to work harder to understand how to trust. You know that true love comes with vulnerability, what emotional safety and security is, and how to sustain love over time. So stay with me through all 12 signs, because at the end of this video, I'm going to share my opinion as an astrologer of almost 30 years about which signs have the easiest time in love, and which signs have the greatest struggles in relationships, and which Venus signs are capable of loving deepest of all, if you will. Because sometimes placements that struggle the most are actually the ones that are capable of transformative love, like they grow the most. So let's dive in, starting with Aries. Venus in Aries is often stereotyped as impulsive or selfish lover or aggressive in love, but the truth is actually so much more beautiful. Venus in Aries has the courage to love first. Yeah, they put themselves out there. They speak of their love. They pursue that which they love. And these are the peoples whose hearts ignite quickly, and they don't tiptoe into relationships. They leap into them. And as lovers, Venus and Aries people bring this excitement and this exhilaration and this enthusiasm, passion, and aliveness. And they remind their partner that love should feel electric and alive. And so they become the electrifying partner. They become the partner that fuels the relationship. And it's not that Venus in Aries is actually selfish. It's that Venus in Aries is really transparent and honest. These people cannot fake affection. If an Aries loves you, you will know it. If they don't, you will also know it. And as a companion, Venus in Aries is going to be the motivating lover. Very highly motivated, fiercely loyal to you, interested in everything that you're doing, and oftentimes very protective of your love. They want a partner. So if you love an Aries, are you a partner who is super independent in your own life and you trust them in their own world? That's what they need. Are you bold enough for them? Do you wear the outfit that says, I am bold, standing next to you? And are you bold in your pursuits and passions? And this is going to sound silly because yes, you are, but are you really alive? Are you alive? Do you have a pulse? Does your heart go boom, boom, boom? That's what they want. They want to feel your life force energy. They also fall in love with confidence and they need a confident lover. And if you want to understand how Venus in Aries relates to money and personal value into all of that, all those extras, then go watch my Venus in Aries video and be sure to check that out after you watch this video. Now, what happens when Venus moves out of a fire sign and into an earth sign like Venus in Taurus? Venus in Taurus is one of the most powerful Venus placements a person can have. Why? Because Taurus is in Venus's home sign. So Taurus is ruled by Venus. And so it's natural. And here is the myth that needs to be busted. People often say Venus in Taurus, and even I say it because it is true, especially when they're not very healthy, is possessive. But I'd like to change that word a little bit. And in rather saying they own you and they're possessive of you, which I have said in other videos, and it is true, especially if they're not super healthy, I want to say that very, very healthy Venus and Tauruses, I should say, is that they are so in devotion to you, sacrificially devoted. They will sacrifice everything. Their loyalty is on steroids. And because they don't fall in love quickly, because they are a slow burn, they stick with their choice because they've been with you probably long enough to know all their pitfalls, all the shortcomings, all the challenges and all the difficulties, and they still decided to stick it out with you. And so they are the consistent lover. They express love through stability, security, and consistency. And this creates a fixity and a loyalty. They show love through definitely physical affection, physical touch, and sex and sensuality. Also reliability. And so this is like their loyalty. They usually are exactly where they say they are. There is the depth of loyalty with a Taurus and Venus person. And they like to create comfort for their partner. Therefore, they need a partner that does all of this for them. They need the secure, stable partner that creates creature comforts. And they build relationships like they build wealth, slowly, carefully, and are you ready for it? Permanently. These are not fly by night. This isn't a hookup. These are not people that want situationships. No, no, and no. As companions, they will help ground you in your life. They will be an anchor for you. They will be so supportive of all of your endeavors, and they are calming. Yes, they create the calm. They create the tranquility. They are earthbound. They want you to have good food and good smells, and they will seduce you with sensuality. They want their partner. So if you're in love with a Venus and Taurus person, are you safe emotionally, psychologically, physically, intellectually with your words? Are your words safe? Are you stable? And are you also sensual? Do you smell good? Do you taste good? Do you look good? Do you act good? Right? That's sensual. Those are the senses. Do you light up their senses? They fall in love with someone, ready for this? This is the deeper part, who brings peace, calm, and tranquility to their nervous system. Yes. And interestingly, Venus in Taurus is also pretty strongly connected to the wealth creation, which, again, I explore more deeply in my Venus in Taurus video in my Venus playlist. So go check that out if you want to understand how this placement attracts and earns money. I also want to say one other thing. If you're a Venus in Taurus, you were born to be not just beautiful, but gorgeous. You were born with the DNA and the genes that said, however you define beauty, whatever your definition is, you are going to experience life as a gorgeous, beautiful, breathtakingly pretty, handsome human. So I want to ask you if you feel that, not in a cocky way, not in a confident, or I shouldn't say confident, not in a braggadocious way, but at some point in your life, did you experience life as a truly beautiful specimen, right? That can bring on problems too. Like, all looks, no substance. They can feel that, even though that's probably not true if you're here learning astrology. But, not just wanting to be a pretty face, not wanting to be rewarded for, what I look like, but for what I do, right? So it can cause problems, but it can also be refreshing. And so I want to know your story and your relationship to being a beautiful person, because this is a beauty chart signature. And when I see Venus in Taurus, and then you put it in the second house, the seventh house, the 10th house, the fifth house, the first house, or on the rising sign, I'm like, oh my God, this is a gorgeous person, even if I'm only talking to them on the phone. Now, everything changes when Venus moves into an air sign. Totally different experience than that earthbound, grounded Taurus sign. And if you're watching this video because you're curious about who you're truly compatible with love, I have something really special for you. On my website at soulnavigation.com, you can click on shop and it will take you to astrology charts and reports, and you can click on my Soulmate package. And in this package, it is so fun because you can really see who you are in the Soulmates package. It's a little bit different. I wanted to explain it to you. It's taking your energy with your partner's energy, and it's creating a combined energy, and that's called your composite chart. You get your composite chart, you get your composite report, which tells you how your energy and their energy merge. And it's probably going to change your sun sign, your moon sign, your composite Venus sign is going to change. So what do you and your partner create with your Venus sign, right? Like you guys are going to have your own Venus signs, and then you're going to have the Venus sign of your composite chart, which is the halfway marker between your Venus sign and their Venus sign. And you get that deep compatibility report, which examines the chemistry between the two of you, like what you create together. And then on top of this, you get your love transit forecast, not just your transit forecast, but your love transit forecast. So you get to see the best romance, relationship, love days of the year out of the 365 days. I mean, those are your best days. And even if you're not in a relationship with somebody, I still love that romance transit forecast, because those days that light up are the best days for you to find love in your life. And if you're single, you need that report for sure. But all of those reports, those charts are inside that Soulmate package. So it's just invaluable. So anyways, I wanted you to understand, or have the opportunity to understand, your relationship at the soul level. So I created this Soulmate package for you. I didn't write it, but I bought the licenses to sell these reports, and I researched the best authors on this subject and the best software. And I think you'll find it in this Soulmate package. So one of the interesting things about Venus and Gemini, and if you have Venus and Gemini, please leave a little comment and let us know if you think this is true. Venus and Gemini does not fall in love with your body first. They fall in love with your mind. The aphrodisiac is the mind, and conversation is their love language. And maybe even like dirty talk, like words. Words are their aphrodisiac and their love language. And if you stimulate their curiosity, they can become absolutely fascinated and obsessed with you and literally never stop thinking about you. That's a Venus in Gemini. I never stop thinking about you. I think about you all the time. I'm obsessed with thinking about you. But the stereotype about Venus and Gemini is that they're flaky. And I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're really unhealthy, yes, that's true. You can be indecisive, flaky, and you can live with a duality where you're just never, ever happy, right? But let me tell you, when it manifests in the healthy person, the deeper truth is that they need chronic, constant intellectual oxygen. Yes, they need an intellectual partner that can keep their brain going and rolling, and they need a partner that can keep up with them. And they thrive in relationships where you are funny, where you have great ideas, where you have incredible thoughts. You think of things they think of but never say. Like, oh my God, I thought of that, but I never said it. But God, it's so good. Like, you make their minds explode, expand, and go aha and pop off. They thrive with a partner who is into exploring life, every nook, every cranny. And they are kind of exhausting because they do need mental stimulation, and they get bored with dumb partners that are dry and boring and are not funny. I'm just telling you, as companions, Venus and Gemini people are playful. They are funny. They are curious cats, maybe slobbering dogs, but they really value stimulation. They are highly stimulating, very fascinating, interesting, deep thinkers, and they keep relationships alive, and they are always evolving because they're always on to the next thing. So they're not really flaky. They're just super curious. And the quickest way to lose a Venus in Gemini is thinking that you're involved with a Venus in Taurus and you become predictable. No, that's for Venus and Taurus, not Venus and Gemini. So the quickest way to win them is fascinate them. Be fascinating. Are you fascinating? Do you have a Gemini lover? Be fascinating. And Geminis, they will be fascinating for you. That's what kind of person they are. Gemini and Venus are fascinating people. And if you want to learn about how they attract multiple streams of income, go watch my Venus and Gemini video where I break down in detail like how they attract abundance and money in their life. But what I really want to say is a Venus in Gemini needs communication, conversation, and they need to talk about what they love. They need to talk about their desires, what they value, what they love, their next money scheme, what is interesting, data and facts and all the news. And they also, I'm going to tell you, Venus in Gemini falls in love with their friends. Yes, they do. Friends first. Okay, my sweet friends. Venus in Cancer. Whoa. Let's just say, whoa. Venus in Cancer loves with their whole essence, with their whole heart, their whole body, their whole mind, their whole soul. And I will say they get misunderstood all the time. Other people see them as clingy. And even I have described, Cancer and Venus in Cancer is very clingy. And that, again, is sort of the unhealthy expression. But when Cancer is really healthy, or when Venus in Cancer is really healthy, it's not clingy. It's actually protective. These are the great protectors, and they defend against outsiders. I will tell you, this can be absolutely, utterly obnoxious to more independent signs. It's like, I don't need your protection. We don't need your protection. You're defensive. You're defending against nothing. There's no threats here. You're making up threats, right? But if you really look at it altruistically, they are ferociously protective. And Venus in Cancer can love altruistically. They can love you like they love their child. And I don't mean that in a grotesque way. I mean that in like an unconditional way. Because I think the only unconditional love that exists on a planet is a parent to a child, mostly a mom to a child, but I've seen it in dads too. So I'm going to say a parent to a child. And partnership love has conditions like, don't do this, or I'm not going to love you anymore. Don't do that. Don't commit these crimes. I'm not going to love you anymore. And a mom's love, Jeffrey Dahmer's mom still loved him, right? So A mom's love oftentimes has this unconditional quality to it, and that's what Cancer's love is like. And so they're fiercely protective against outsiders. So if you don't belong with us, if you're not good to my, if you're not good to my partner, you're not good to me. Get out. That's how they love, right? It's deep. It's really deep. And I know that it can look obnoxious, but if you look at it from the intended nature, like Cancer and Venus's intention, it's really powerful. It's instinctual. And they love people by becoming and creating the emotional sanctuary. And so you're safe with them. And they are the partners who remember your favorite food, your tiny details, your childhood stories, your emotional triggers, your little tiny preferences. They remember. And as lovers, they are nurturing. They are affectionate, and they are so deeply bonded to you. They want a soul family. So this is not the hookup sign. They're not into hooking up or just having tonight only. They really want your soul connection, your soul family. And they seek a partner who honors that level of loyalty. So do you honor that? And they also need to feel emotionally safe. And this is going to sound very, very simple, but I mean this in the most real way. They need to know that you genuinely care, genuinely, that they don't need to manipulate for you to care. They don't need to dress in a certain way for you to care, but that you care. If they were intubated in the ICU unit, you would be by the bedside because you care. That's what they're looking for. So do you have a Cancerian partner, or are you the Cancerian partner? And have you found this kind of love? And did it take you a long time to find this is a high stakes love game. Venus in Cancer wants a love that literally feels like home. And I mean like home is where the heart is, not home. I have a nice couch and a nice chair. If you're liking this series, and if you have explored my channel, please subscribe. And also just like this video. It's free. It's easy. I'm so grateful. And if you really want to show extra love like a Cancer in Venus, please consider becoming a member. It would mean the world to me. It puts 10 cents in my pocket. It allows me to hire an editor, get a new camera, lights. I need a new microphone. It just allows me to invest in my videos on YouTube and produce more videos. And I have a library of more than 2,000 free videos for you to learn from. And I want to keep shining my light and teaching you real astrology, deep astrology. And I can only do that with a thriving membership program. So please consider becoming a super supporter. It's only $2.99 a month. And I would be forever grateful. There's a bunch of perks. You get all my behind the scenes videos and you get perks. So go check them out. Just click the join button on my homepage. Now let's move to one of the most magnetic Venus placements. I mean, Venus doesn't really, well, I'll talk to you about what signs are the hardest with the Venus placement. But you can have a hard Venus placement and have a lot of success in love. But when you have Venus in Leo, it is very magnetic. And they are considered show-offs and they get a bad rap like, oh, you're too razzle-dazzle and superficial. But Leo is not really about the ego. It's about the heart's energy, because Leo is the energy that comes from the heart, the passion, the creativity. And Venus and Leo people love dramatically. They love passionately. They love generously and outwardly. This is, I think, the most generous Venus placement. These people are givers. They are generous with their money, their time, their energy, and their passion. Venus and Leo partners want you to feel adored. They want you to feel admired. Now, they're not going to give that away for free. You need to be adorable and you need to be admirable. in order to get the compliments. They want that in a partner because they want to adore their partner. So a Venus in Leo lover brings you big romance, big creativity. This is the kind of person that's like, wear the little black dress. I'll be there at 5:00, right? And they pick you up in some limo and they take you to some show and they fly you to the moon or Vegas or something. But they're filled with like fun, romantic, playful surprises. Yeah, they're the one that leaves the, engagement ring in the yogurt at the restaurant, or in the dessert at the restaurant with the chocolate covered strawberry, and you're shell shocked, right? So they love grand gestures. They love it. They're the ones that like make Christmas extra if you celebrate that holiday. They love the big celebration. They throw you the surprise party. They put you on the center stage. They karaoke the song. They created the wedding dance that went viral on TikTok. Yeah, these people are creative and they get the admiration of everybody else in the room. And they kind of want you to be like that too. They want you to at least appreciate their grand gestures, or they want you to at least meet them in the grand gesture. But here's the myth. Here's the myth to break. And that is that the Venus in Leo person needs constant attention. And it's not really true. The deeper truth is when they're healthy, they simply want their lover, their love interest, to appreciate them. That's what they need. They don't need the constant attention, because when Venus in Leo loves someone, they give their whole heart generously, but they don't usually fall in love too quickly because they're a fixed sign. And I will be very honest with you, they got a lot of choices. So if you were picked by a Leo and Venus, you're pretty special. You beat out everyone else. So is that you? I want to know, is that you? Is that you? Is that you? And what did you do to win their heart? Will you share your story? We're all dying to know. We're all dying to know. As companions, if you win a Leo, they are a fixed sign. They are very loyal. They are not players. They are very warm. They run from warm to hot. They're very rarely cool, unless they've got a Saturn placement that's messing with their Venus and Leo. And they are fiercely, tribally supportive. Like if you're on the team, you're on the team. If you made the cut, you made the cut. You're on the team and you're not getting bumped, because they are tribal thinkers. They work in a pack. They're the lion. They live in a pack. So they fall in love with somebody who also celebrates life in a big, big way. And they also fall madly in love with someone who inspires them into their greatness, who is not afraid of their fame, who is not threatened by their, gargantuan fabulousness or their razzle dazzle. They need somebody who's okay with their tap dance, right? Like, look at me. Woo, I'm great. I know it. I'm sorry. I can't help it, right? That's Leo and Venus. And it's not that they're seeking the attention, but they need somebody who won't be jealous of it, because they're going to get attention, even if they don't even try. So do you have this placement? Are you involved with somebody who has this placement? They need a partner who lets them shine and who loves it. But what happens when Venus shifts from being passionate into being analytical? Okay, so that's Venus and Virgo. No, it's Earth analytics. It's not air analytics. And air analytics is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, but Virgo is highly analytical. So Venus in Virgo, I think, is often misunderstood as the critical partner. But again, when this is healthy and this is coming from the more evolved soul, I would say that's not the true nature of this placement. Venus in Virgo loves and is devoted to improvement. And these are the partners that ask, how can I truly make your life better? They express love through doing acts of service, problem solving for betterment, for enrichment, and thinking of all the tiny, thoughtful details. And Venus and Virgo are often really deeply devoted, especially if they feel like you're worth investing in. But they seek a partner who is growing and evolving and stretching and also trying to improve. And if you're not trying to improve or you're not in devotion to your own growth or your own learning, they're going to get bored with you. They're going to get frustrated with you because they can see and discern all the little tiny micro and macro problems. And if you can't see those, then they feel like they're doing all the growing, all the teaching, all the learning. They fall in love with somebody who values integrity. Yep, you have to be in integrity to be with a Venus and Virgo. And I'm specifically talking about Venus and Virgo, but if you've got somebody with big Virgo qualities in their chart, like a Virgo moon, a Virgo rising, 3 planets in Virgo, this will probably also fit. They also really value intelligence. Yes, they want the smart partner, and they want somebody who is attached to self-improvement. Self-mastery, mastering a gift, mastering a talent, mastering a job, mastering themselves. And they want more than anything to build a better life together. They want a team. They want to be a team with you where you both add value. And this is where I think they get criticized as being nitpicky or being, mean or cold or robotic or critical. And it's really not the truth. So are you in love with a Virgo in Venus partner? And do you feel like they are critical of you or of the relationship? And tell me, what did they fall in love with about you? Maybe the non-Venus and Virgo person. Share your stories with us. We want to know. Leave a comment. And also like and subscribe. Yes. So let's talk about Venus and Libra. Venus in Libra is the other placement that Venus loves because Libra is ruled by Venus just like Taurus. But this is the air element, not the earth element. So these are two faces of the same coin. And Venus in Libra is also born to be extraordinarily beautiful. This is a beauty placement. This is a superpower beauty placement where beauty probably opens up doors for you, or, this placement has the highest charm out of the entire zodiac. There is not a placement that is as charming as a Venus in Libra. And this Venus understands something really profound that the other signs do not understand. And that is that love is an art form. Yes, these people value harmony. They value true, genuine connection. Like, don't flatter me. Don't give me false flattery. Don't tell me you're going to show up and not. Like, I want to know that you really want to share in this experience called love. I want to know that you're really as connected to me as I am to you. And people say that Venus and Libra cannot be alone. And it's not exactly true. It's kind of true, but not exactly 100% true. They simply understand that life is richer, sweeter, and better when it's shared. They don't want to go buy an apple pie and eat it by themselves. No, they want to share it with you. So as a companion, they are almost always thoughtful. They are almost always diplomatic. They are almost always charming. And they are always relationship oriented. They're always thinking about, well, how would they feel? What are they doing? How would this go with them? They always have you in mind, and it is really, really sweet. They want a partner who also values fairness because they're fair. They want a partner that looks damn good because they look damn good. Yeah, they want an attractive partner. They want a clean partner that has a sense of style, that knows what kind of socks to wear with what kind of shoes. Yeah. They do not want you to show up in a way, in an outfit or dress in a way or present with manners or a personality that would embarrass them. Like, don't get drunk and start hitting people. That would be awful. That's like game over. Don't be drunk and throw up all over yourselves at the party. Don't vomit out your words. Don't be crass, cruel, or mean publicly, even privately, but especially publicly. Like having the perfect face, kind of matters. And this sign can also be called superficial because they really care about appearances. Don't be embarrassing to them. Their ideal relationship feels like two equal people, equally smart, equally beautiful, two equals. However you get to the equality is up to you, how you want to divide your pie. I don't want to define it for you. But two equal people dancing through life absolutely beautifully together, being the envy of others. Yeah, they like that. They want to be the ideal. Libra wants to be the ideal. That's why they're very charming. They know what the ideal is, and they know if they're not the ideal, and they certainly know if you're not the ideal. So if you're, I got to tell you, if you're just beginning to explore astrology with someone that you really love, you might want to get my Lovers package, and you can get that over at shopsoulnavigation.com because inside that Lovers package, it is so, so good. I also like the Soulmates package that I was talking about before to take a look at your composite. But in your Lovers package, you'll look at the two individuals and how they'll affect one another. So you get your two gorgeous natal charts, if you don't have them already, one for you and one for your partner. You're going to get two deep natal astrology reports explaining each of your individual charts. So you get to know your person individual from you. And then you get your love and compatibility report, which explains how that person perceives you and is with you and how you are with them. And this is one of my very favorite ways to help couples understand how you communicate, how you love, what the potential pitfalls are, where your strengths grow you, and where your challenging or growth areas are inside your relationship. So anyways, you can find my Lovers package at shopsoulnavigation.com, and it makes an absolutely incredible engagement gift too. We got to talk about Venus in Scorpio. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, it's one of the most misunderstood placements, I think, in astrology. You know, Venus, I should say Scorpio's natural ruler is Mars. So it's kind of uncomfortable inside Venus, but we got to talk about it. So people, of course, call it intense, and it is intense. I mean, it is really intense. You can feel like you have a vice grip around your neck when you're involved with the Venus in Scorpio, but that's unhealthy. And the truth is when Venus in Scorpio is healthy, they are intense because they are testing to see if this love is shallow. They want love that can withstand all the drama, all the trauma, all the problems, all of their past life baggage. They want to know that you will eat glass for breakfast with them if they need you to, and you will walk across hot coals. They want to know that you aren't going to flinch if a gun is drawn on the two of you. They want to know you're in it. They want to know you're in it like they're in it. Like they're going to dodge a bullet. They're going to jump in front of a moving train for you. Are you going to do that for them? That's the intensity. That's what they're testing for. And so they want to see your soul. They want to see your real self. They want to see your true nature and your truth about them. So they're going to probe you to see that truth. And they seek a relationship that is emotionally raw, the depth of you, my friend, the psychological deep, right? Deeper than deep, the profoundly intimate. You got to get naked and you got to get real. They want profound intimacy. And as a lover, they will bring you their heart and soul. They will bring you their life force energy. Now, they're going to look like a cool cat because they do not slobber. Nope. But they will bring you more passion than you ever knew existed. And they will bring you an emotional depth that will transform your life. And you will never be the same again after you love this Venus and Scorpio person. We want your story. Will you share your story in the comments below? People learn from the stories on this channel. And I find that this community is very loving, kind, compassionate, empathetic, and supportive to the comments. So if you do have a hard story and do want to share it, I just know that this community will be good to you. I think a Venus and Scorpio person needs more than anything in the whole wide world, more than phenomenal sex, more than phenomenal chemistry. They need absolute trust. So are you going to catch them when they jump? And they fall in love with someone who is brave enough to be literally unzipped and fully seen. Because Venus in Scorpio believes that love can and should and will transform you. Is this you? Can you relate? Will you share? Venus and Sagittarius, let's lighten the load. Venus and Sag needs freedom and adventure. Do you give them their freedom, and are you adventurous? Are you open-minded? But that doesn't mean they avoid commitment. And that's where they get a bad rap. Oh, you must be a philanderer. Oh, you can never get married. And it is true for a lot of Sagittariuses that they need freedom above the confines of marriage. But if they find a person who will allow them and trust them to be free, a free agent, if you will, then ironically, they can be loyal. Isn't that ironic? Like, you get a loyal partner inside Sagittarius if you can let them have their freedom. And that means you let them do life their way. I'm not saying you're not considered, but they need to have autonomy inside the connection. And to say it very simply, Sagittarius needs a partner inside relationship that expands their world, doesn't shrink them and hold them down and put a noose or a leash around their neck and a choke collar. No. They need somebody who lets Sagittarius expand. And what's funny is if the partner lets the Sagittarius and Venus expand, they don't want to. They want to stay home, and they pick and choose when it would be convenient for you, for them to go expand their world, go take a class, go learn new music, go learn something new, go on safari, go on adventure without you, right? And if you let them do that, it's ironic because then they're like, well, do you want to come? If you want to come, okay. It's very funny. This one is a little bit of a devil's advocate, and they're not even trying to be the devil's advocate or like manipulate you. It literally is like the dog that has the doggy door never wants to go outside, right? The dog that doesn't have the doggy door and can't go outside wants to go outside. I don't know. It's the Sagittarius and Venus way. So they love partners who bring this element of curiosity, philosophy, exploration, expansion, abundance, optimism, and fun. They need fun. And as a companion, you are going to be with the most optimistic person. You are going to be with an adventurer. You are going to be with somebody who loves inspiring you and feels inspired by you. And so it is so rewarding. You are going to be with somebody who has big ideas for a big life with big dreams and who envisions life at a big, big, big level. Do you want to play big? If you don't want to play big, don't pick a Venus and Sagittarius. If you want to play really teeny weeny small, predictable, you need to find a Venus and Taurus because they're going to keep things comfortable. Sagittarius and Venus is going to make you highly uncomfortable because they're changing the rules. Because life is an adventure and rules need to be changed, right? And they're changing the rules not necessarily around loyalty, but around, hey, let's get curtains instead of blinds. I bought a new living room for us. Sagittarius Venuses fall in love with somebody who shares their vision for life. Yes. Yes. Like, do you want to move to Africa? I want to move to Africa. Oh yeah, of course I want to move to Africa. Okay, let's move to Africa. Well, maybe not. They just want to know that you will. So Venus and Sagittarius believes love should be a big, fat, adventurous journey together. So do you? Do you believe that too? Because if you do, you'd be a great partner for Venus and Sagittarius. Let's talk about Venus and Capricorn. Venus and Capricorn loves very, very, very seriously. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, they do. And these partners, I should say, these are the partners that build relationships with like a long-term vision. And the stereotype is that Venus and Capricorns are emotionally cold, and it's not true. It's not really true. They simply believe that love should be earned and proven over time. And as companions, they are reliable, they are devoted, and they are incredibly loyal. They are sizing you up at hello on the first date. Could this be successful? Would I be better off? Is this partner a liability to me? And if they are a liability, am I capable of paying those liability costs? And like if I have $6 million, let's just pretend. If I have $6 million worth of assets and I meet you and I'm a Capricorn Venus, I'm going to say, is this person worth the $6 million I could lose if we end up in a divorce? Oh, I don't know if I want to lose 6 million. And the real question would probably be, if you live like in California or in the United States, is this person worth the 3 million that I would lose? Because it's 50-50. And so that's how Capricorn Venus thinks. Is this person worth the chance of the liability they could potentially cost me? And that, I understand, can be annoying, because if you're like a Venus and Pisces, which we haven't talked about yet, you don't think like that. You don't think like that. But Capricorn does. Everything has a cost. What is this relationship going to cost me? Okay, you have 5 children. I have no children. Am I going to be responsible for putting your 5 children through life, or do you have that covered? Because I need to calculate and I need to do the math on how much is this going to cost me, and how much time, effort, energy, and cold hard cash is this going to cost me, because they want to be successful. And if they can't do it, they don't want to sign up for it, because they don't want to be the loser and the failure in this relationship. And so they bring devotion to the whole program, not just to, oh, I love you and you love me. Yay, let's do it. No, it has to math. It has to calculate. It has to be set up for success. If you live in Paris and I live in New York City, can we find a way to make it successful? If we can, let's do it. If we can't, let's don't. Very, very, very practical. They fall in love with somebody who has integrity for their side of the equation. They fall in love with somebody who demonstrates ambition for their part of the team. They fall in love with somebody who understands maturity and responsibility and what makes a relationship really work. Because a Venus in Capricorn is looking for a love that will end up lasting a lifetime, and that's what they consider successful. Yes. Again, you got to look at the whole chart. So if you have a Venus in Capricorn, but you've got 3 planets in Aquarius, including your sun sign, you have to blend both energies, just FYI. Let's talk about Venus in Aquarius. So Venus in Aquarius is one of the most fascinating placements in astrology, because I think they are the single hardest sign combination to land, to marry. These lovers want something so unique that probably you, I, and the other people watching this don't even have it. They want the needle in a haystack. And so they don't want traditional love scripts. They don't want traditional love. They are going to set up the rules and regulations of loving them in a very unique way. This is not cookie cutter love. This is probably not even biblical love. Like, a man and a woman consummate the marriage on their wedding night, and unless they were indoctrinated into, I don't know, something that they just must adhere by, just the natural expression of Venus in Aquarius will break the rules and will not want to do conventional love. They might want to love a same-sex partner. They might want to love a transgender. They might want to love somebody who is a little bit different, unique to how they were taught, to what their parents expected. And so they're going to do love uniquely and differently. And it might not even be that extreme. It might be just they find the unique person who is unique in their corner of the world. So, maybe you grew up in Iowa and they fell in love with somebody who is from Ethiopia, right? Like that's unique and different. That's a whole new culture and language to understand. And so they just don't want the stereotypical cookie cutter love script, and they're not going to do it. They do fall in love with somebody who stimulates their mind and somebody who does not obligate them terribly. They don't want sweaty obligations that make it like laborious to love them. They also want somebody who is in alignment with their ideals, and somebody who allows them their autonomy and individuality, like allows them to be unique and wildly different too, and celebrates their differences. And as a companion, they're supportive of your freedom. They want to help you become free. They want to help you be free to express, free to think, free to be you. They are also the person who is so intellectually stimulating and engaging, and they are the great visionary. I mean, they are like Sagittarius, where they envision the electric, eccentric, innovative life. They want to do life differently. Live on a houseboat, live off the grid, live in an RV, live, I don't know, in a tent, live on a boat, something unique, live in the Himalaya mountains, live in a little stone cottage with just, with just fire for heat. I don't know, but it's going to be different. So if you do have Venus in Aquarius, will you tell us, how do you love differently? And again, this is maybe a little bit exaggerated, but it's going to be unique. Like Gemini, they fall in love with their friends. Friendship first, at the very least. They really like to develop a friendship. They like to have camaraderie with their partner. And the best relationships are built on equality. These are usually egalitarians. These people believe in sort of a semi-utopia, like you do you, I do me, and then you bring yours to the table, I bring mine to the table, and we share if we want to, and we don't share if we don't want to. And there's also commune concepts here. Like if you don't live in a commune, it's almost like everything's kind of a bargain. So like the partner would not assume with me that I don't build the IKEA desk or paint the walls just because I'm a woman, right? Like the Aquarian partner steps out of traditional roles. Like they might be the stay-at-home dad and you're the working mom if you're in a male-female dynamic or whatever. But it's like the stereotypes of love and the archetypes inside marriage get reassessed, reevaluated, and rewired inside of Venus with Aquarius. And so are you on board with that? And do you love a person who has Venus in Aquarius? Okay, let's talk about Venus in Pisces. This, I think, might be the most romantic placement of all. And these are the lovers who see the soul inside the other person. They fall in love with the soul, not the body, not the mind, no, not the personality, the soul. And they will provoke you to get you to show your soul. And so they love through having compassion for you, your life, your family, and those people and animals that you love. They have a great deal of compassion and helpfulness. They also love through empathy, like having empathy and sympathy for others. And so you feel really, 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 really gotten when you love Pisces. Did you guys watch my pain and pitfalls signs videos? So I did the pain and pitfalls of loving each sign, and that's in a playlist. And oh gosh, the Pisces video I did for the pain and pitfalls of falling in love with the Pisces was so big. And I really recommend that you watch that whole entire series. You will understand astrology so deeply if you understand the pain and the pitfalls of each of the signs. Because I do talk about like the suffering inside of each sign and why it's so hard to love each sign. And Pisces is a big subject. But when it's good, it's angelic. And when it's bad, it's just so painful. But they will love you with divine love, unconditional love. And the myth is that they're naive or gullible. And the deeper truth is that they love transcendentally. They love with a type of understanding of nirvana, and they really do understand it. And so they seek that, and that mystical, magical nirvana is very difficult to find inside just the bare bones human, right? You're not going to find that just randomly anywhere. And so they believe love should be magical and soulful. And so oftentimes they come into your life in a magical way, and they are the magical lover. And as companions, they are so supportive. They create the magic. They are emotionally attuned to your every vibration. They live in the harmonics of the vibration, and they are spiritually connected to you. They are telepathic. They can read your mind. They understand you intuitively without you even having to say what you feel. They get you. They want a person who also gets them. And they fall in love with someone who understands the deeper meaning of life, your life, their life, and your life inside relationship. And I will tell you that it's hard for Venus and Pisces to fall in love because they want love to feel divine, be divine, and stay divine. And divinity is hard to sustain when you're a mere mortal. And that's why I want you to watch that video that I did, The Pain and Pitfalls of Loving a Pisces, because it gets very complex and complicated fast. And now I want to, for all of you, I really want to go back to that question that I posed at the very beginning of this video. So which Venus signs have the easiest time with love and which ones tend to struggle the most? So in my experience as an astrologer, the Venus signs that often experience the most natural flow in love tend to be Taurus, Libra, and Pisces. And I kind of explained why. Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter, and Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. And so that moves us into unconditional love. And Taurus and Libra really understand the rhythm of love very easily. Pragmatic, grounded, down to earth love, partnership, and connection. They just get it. And Pisces expresses Venus through this compassion and empathy and emotional devotion that other signs just don't. And these placements have this beautiful capacity to love deeply and love romantically and love so fully with grace and ease, harmony and diplomacy and kindness. But the Venus signs that sometimes can experience the most complexity in relationships is Virgo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Now, this doesn't mean that they're bad lovers. Not at all, not at all, not at all. In fact, these placements are actually capable of extraordinary depth inside of love. But they got to get healthy. They absolutely cannot come from their shadow side because this is why they approach relationships through a more complicated, complex lens. It's like their desires for what they need in a partner have more complexity in them. Virgos want to improve and refine the love that they find. Scorpio wants to transform with their lover, and the other person sometimes can't go that deep. And Aquarius wants love to exist alongside freedom, autonomy, and individuality. So how do you do partnership when you also desire autonomy? That's for the Aquariuses to figure out, right? So, and Aquarius and Venus. So their journey with Venus can be much more psychologically complex, but it doesn't mean they don't get it. It doesn't mean they won't do it. It just means they really need somebody who understands their Venus sign. So send them this video if you have one of those Venus placements. And then there are the Venus signs that tend to experience like the most drama or dramatic shifts in love over their lifetime, like changing out their love language, their love desires, what they need, what they want, and even maybe their partners. And they have to experience probably loss in order to know what it is they want. And that's Aries, Gemini, and Sagittarius. And these signs are constantly evolving, wanting the next thing, the better, the bigger, the more, right? And so they need love that can kind of keep up with their new desires and their changes, and they need a love that will grow with them, stay curious at their level, and be alive, like literally, like walk in the door and just liven everything up. And if the spark disappears for those three signs, they often feel it immediately, get bored, and start cooling their jets and checking out. But here's the most important truth, okay? This is the most important truth. No Venus sign is better than the other. We have to look at the whole of the chart. And each sign just simply represents a different way to the heart in how to love and be loved. How to love and how to be loved. And the real magic happens when you begin to understand your Venus nature and the Venus nature of the people that we love. So understanding how your partner most wants to be loved. What is the gift that you give to your partner? That's the real question. And I feel like love is not random. I feel like you end up, when you're in a healthy relationship, you have ended up with a person who understands the blueprint of your soul. Now, you have to remember that Venus, your Venus sign does not work alone. It interacts with your moon, your Mars sign, your rising sign, and the house that Venus sits in. And so if you want to go deeper in how your Venus sign influences money and abundance and attraction, please go watch after this. Go find my Venus playlist, and you're going to see a laundry list of Venus videos that I've already done on this channel where I break down each sign in so much more detail. And you can watch that next. And I would love to know in the comments, what is your Venus sign? Did this description resonate with you? I can't wait to find out. I hope you're coming to Seattle. Go to soulnavigation.com and click on astrology retreats and workshops to read all about what we're going to do. It's going to be so exciting. It's in May. I cannot wait. I hope you're coming. And wherever you are living in the world, I just wish you the most beautiful day. I wish you peace, tranquility. I absolutely love that you're on this astrological journey with me. And I just wish you the very, very best. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next video.